Hi, so I was watching this movie called Moneyball. So for those who haven't seen Moneyball, it's a movie where this man called Billy, where he was young, he had everything that the baseball scout thought that everybody, like anybody who would do well in baseball would have. He had the heights, he knew how to throw, he knew how to run. They just felt like this guy was it. And so at the time where the scout came to meet Billy, he already had like a scholarship to Stanford, like a full scholarship to Stanford. So the parents said, you know what, it's up to you. And Billy chose baseball. His career never lived up to the hype. His career never really picked up like they predicted. And so he became sad. He became regretful because he felt like he has lost this opportunity to go to Stanford and all of that stuff. And now even the career that he chose or that he sacrificed that one for is not picking up. So he ended up becoming a manager, baseball, player manager, which is not totally bad. But what happened was the team he was managing was not winning. And one of the reasons was because, according to him, the budget was small. Most of the time, by the time they play and they lose, bigger scouts or bigger management would take the best players in his team, like offering them way more money. So what he did was he met this guy called, this economist guy called Peter. And so Peter told him about this, how he could use data to, track how the players were playing on the field. So yes, he bought into this idea, believed it, and Billy and Peter started this new plan to be able to work with the budget they had, first of all, and to be able to get these players to win. One of the things he said to this man, Peter, that was working with him, he said, do you believe in this 100%? He said, yes. Peter said yes. And then he said, you don't have to explain it to anybody. If you believe it, go ahead and do it. And so they went ahead with this crazy idea of using the players they had and the budget they had. So one of the things that they did, which I kind of liked, was instead of paying one player who is really good, instead of paying that player, say for example, $7 million, and this player would give you about, for example, 5 score. What they did was, do we have 3 players that when they combine efforts can give the same result as this one player, and yet we'll be able to play these 3 players smaller or lesser than we pay one player? So yes, they started looking at how different players played, people who were overlooked, people who were not appreciated. They brought in players that when they played together as a team will give them the results that they wanted. This team that I had put together started to win. They won 20 scores or 20 baseball game in a row, which was beating, as at the time, was beating the American Baseball League. It was beating this record. However, Billy was still not satisfied. Billy was not happy. So Peter was asking him, why are you not happy? And Peter showed him, gave him a very good example. He said there was this guy who they told to play baseball. He knew he wasn't good, or he thought he wasn't good. And by the time he hit the baseball, it actually went over like home run, or how do you guys call it? And it actually went over. But this guy immediately hit the ball. He ran looking for the ball, not knowing that this ball has already hit like out of the pitch, which is like a home plate. And by the time he realized, people were already laughing at him. But then he realized, oh my God, he actually did way better than he thought. So he started to celebrate. But this example did not move Billy at all, because this example was trying to tell Billy that you thought you're not doing good, but you have actually done way better than anybody at this time. You should be celebrating. However, Billy was like, this is my life. I have been here. I have failed. I passed on this scholarship. I did this and all of these many excuses for him not being happy. However, other managements were seeing the new input, the way he was running this team, and they were really intrigued by this intelligence and by the way he was doing it. So one of the top baseball management offered, called Red Sox, they offered Billy $12.5 million to come and manage their team. Billy went for the offer, but he did not take it. Like, he went for the meeting, but he didn't take the offer. And It didn't make sense at the time. Peter was like, why don't you take this offer? You have done well here in Oakland A's. So why are you not moving on? Why are you not taking this accolade that is due to you? Can't you see that you have done something really special that nobody else could think of? You have literally changed this game forever. Yet Billy is still feeling like, I am this failure. I don't think I have done this. I think I am not happy because, and one of the reasons why he wasn't happy was because he felt he wants to win championship, and that by the time he wins championship, then he's now going to feel like he has made up for all the years of failure and all the years of regret. But according to the end of that movie, this red sauce that he didn't take the contract went ahead to win the championship by adapting this new Billy strategy in the 2 years' time. However, Billy never won the championship. Now, this movie could give you either two, however way you want to look at it. It's either you can say, according to him, he said, no longer want to sell my sources for money anymore. Or you can also look at it like Billy never really moved on. He never really moved on from his wounds. He never really moved on from his past failure. He thought that this success of winning championship could redeem him. However, redemption is not in your result. Redemption is really not in your result. Success doesn't redeem you from whatever you're going through. Success really doesn't redeem you from whatever you're going through. You really have to heal. You really have to understand that you are doing way better. That if they put somebody in that same situation, they probably wouldn't even be doing half of what you're doing right now. And yet a lot of us fail to realize how much we are doing. And when I say a lot of us, I'm even including myself at this point. But I feel like after watching this movie, I was like, wow, how many of us has actually thrown the ball way over and we're at the floor still looking at the ball? How many of us has actually done something incredible, but still yet we're not happy because we think that we still need to make up for this past failure. We still need to make up for whatever pain that we think that we are going through or that has happened in the past. And as I was watching this movie, I said, I really wanted to make a video and just ask somebody, what is that thing that has happened in the past that you are still making up for, that you are still in a certain stagnant position, waiting that you're going to get a certain thing so that you're going to prove that you were never really a failure? Redemption is not in result. Success will not redeem the past time. You really need to heal and move on. For me, I felt like, man, Billy, you have done great. You should just take this contract of 12.5 million and just move on. Like, go ahead and do greater things. Now you have the budget. Now you have the team. You can now, own this strategy that you have created. Make a living out of it. Make a better living out of it. I mean, some people could argue that he decided to, no longer sell himself for money, but I didn't really see it as selling himself for money, because now he had the opportunity to go on a bigger management. He had the opportunity to go on a bigger platform. He had the opportunity to own this strategy and do whatever he could do with it. However, one of Billy's reasons why he didn't take this offer was because he wanted to win in Oakland A's so badly because of the previous failure that he had failed, because of this thing that is eating him up, that he didn't go to Stanford, he wasn't a good player, and he's not a good management, and he really wanted to win championships. So now he can say, I made it. But he never did. So I started to reflect. What are the things that I could do today? What are the things that I could do now that will help me to stop dwelling in my past failure, to stop performing so that I could make up for those past times, to say, I have to do this thing. I have to win this thing so I can prove that I'm not really a failure. Because I realize that a lot of us are literally just performing, still trying to struggle to make up for all of the failures. So all the people who called us that we failed, all the things that we've missed, we're trying to still behave and perform like Billy, passing on major opportunities just because we think that when we get one thing, that is going to prove to everybody. And I actually came up with these 5 points. Name the wound. Name the wound. What is that failure that has kept you stagnant, that is not making you see the next opportunity, that is not making you move on? What is that particular failure? For Billy, it was the fact that he didn't take his Stanford scholarship for this baseball, and yet the baseball career never really kicked off. And he is a strongly manager at this point. So name the wound. Number 2, redefine what success means to you. Now, whatever that success means to you, I want you to ask yourself, is this definition mine, or is this definition somebody else? Is this definition because of your past failure? So for Billy, winning this championship was to prove that he's not a failure, that all these years that he passed over this Stanford scholarship and all this career that did not go on, that championship was going to make up for everything. We ask yourself again, is this definition of my success somebody's? Is it for my past failure, or is it for me? Or is it for the season that I am actually in right now? Or is it what I actually intend to want to be? It's just the reason why you need to redefine your success is so that you're not stuck in one place trying to make up for past time when there's opportunity that you are literally passing over just because you are stuck trying to prove a point that literally nobody cares about. To be sincere. Number 3, heal from performing. Shift from performing. We've been performing for so long. And Billy was just performing. All Billy was doing was, he couldn't even feel his victory. 20 games in a row. He couldn't even be happy. That's how bad it was. Billy couldn't be happy. Even after he has won 20 games in a row, breaking a record, he couldn't even celebrate. And that is what performance does. And at some point I realized this, that performance just makes you keep on doing and doing and doing, and you really never celebrate your win. You're never even happy. Even after you have broken a record, shattered a record, you still cannot see how big that is to you. Number 4, detach your identity from outcome. You need to separate your outcome from your identity. Failure is not a reflection of your worth. Success is not a measure of your identity. I need to repeat that again. Number 4, detach your identity from your outcome. Separate your identity from your outcome. Failure is not a measure of your worth. And success is also not a measure of your identity. So when we attach success and failure to our identity, then we realize that we're not performing. Everything has to be one or the other. And when we fail, it becomes tragic. And then when we succeed, we cannot even enjoy the moment and just enjoy the flow. We cannot, because now we're thinking of what the next big success is. We can't even take a pause to celebrate that which we have even accomplished. And the last one, number 5, do it with God. Make sure you do it with God. I know a lot of people will say they're doing it for God, but make sure you are doing it with God. Even if you're doing it for God, do it with God. Even if you're doing it for people, do it with God. Because God makes all the difference. You're not going to... I don't know how to explain this, but it is in vain that the builder built it when God doesn't build. It is in vain that the watchman watch when God is not watching over the city. Do it with God. It is easier to do it with God. It is easier to heal with God. It is easier to just do it with God. Do it with God. And everything that you so wish, your healing, your success, your failure, whatever, they are going to be different from your identity. Because now your identity is rooted in Christ, and your redemption is not in your results, because the redemption that you have right now is the one that Christ has already given to you, that was nailed to the cross of Calvary on your behalf. So do it with God. God bless you.